Oh, welcome. We're live. Mike Crawford, Young Jurks. Welcome to this live episode. Some news. We got nominated. It's the New England Cannabis Convention Awards. The Young Jurks are nominated for Best Podcast and Best News Source. Well, those are awards we actually have won in the past. It's just a great honor to be nominated for this again. Seems like we're perennial nominees for the New England Cannabis Convention Community Awards. I want to thank it, and the reason I'm proud of it and honored by it is because people vote for us. People nominate us for this. It's basically a popularity poll, but I really like that people consider us the best cannabis podcast and the best news source locally in Boston, and we're up for the nominated twice for that this year. I'm also nominated again too for the award that I haven't won, which I kind of don't expect to win this year, and it's okay. I actually suggested 4 other people be nominated for that award. It's the Lifetime Achievement Award. And it's not that I don't think I'm deserving. I definitely do. I've done this over 20 plus years. I think I am deserving of the Lifetime Achievement, but I like some other people who are nominated. 2 of our friends, 2 of my brothers who passed away. I call them brothers, Kyle Elmo Correa and Glenn Prescott Red Blazer. I actually suggested that people nominate them, and they were nominated, which was awesome. I also suggested people nominate the King of Pop, Michael Malta, who also passed away, and Mickey Martin. So I remember those 4 guys, and I think they're all worthy. 2 of them have been nominated. So do what you want on the Lifetime Achievement Award, but please go vote. It's necan.com. You can vote right now. We have a great show tonight. I hope a special show. Yeah, it's going to be a fun show tonight. I think it's going to be we're going back to kind of what I'm trying to produce too at the same time, but we're going back to kind of where we started over the last, for when COVID started, which is going back to cannabis employees and the union fight, the labor fight at some of these dispensaries locally. And I want to bring up the 2 guests. I'm going to bring them up right now.
Hey.
Hello, AJ and Adam.
How you doing?
So I got AJ Fenway Parker here and Adam Lynch to speak to us about INSA Salem, which is a dispensary, a national dispensary chain. I think it's based out of Massachusetts, if I'm correct.
Yep.
But they're in multiple states, a multi-state operator, large corporation.
Yeah.
And you guys are part of a union campaign over there, right?
Yes, we are. Yeah. We sure are.
So tell us about that. I guess we'll start with AJ Fenway Parker. How did you get involved in this campaign at INSA in Salem to organize a union?
Well, I love the full name. Keep it up. It's great. But I feel like when you're working at any job, there are certain things and aspects like you expect from an employer, or you're looking for a sense of self outside of work, and making sure those things are taken care of, and making sure that disciplinary actions are fair, and all of these like general things. And then when you keep having like adding to that list of like what's in my control, or what can I do without with going through the process that they've given me. And then you start to see that maybe it's not, you're not getting a solution anywhere. These things become habit, and it becomes something that's just like you accept as being a part of like the work environment. And I think a lot of us got to a point where it's like, I think that we need a voice. We need an opportunity to speak for directly about what we need in the workplace and what works best, because we're there every day. And I think the need for that has just become stronger and stronger as, we've dealt with COVID, and we've dealt with, large turnovers, and that's just happening like across America. Like everyone's quitting their job. It's just like happening. I would say it's happening all the time in every industry right now. Like there's a low workforce. There's not that many people right now to do these things. So there's a lot like that kind of factored into getting us to this point. But I think that would be my general answer.
It's so true too about how in high demand workers are right now. I mean, I've never been working more than I do right now. Um, and it's also what you said about the reason for wanting to create this, campaign, this union campaign at INSA. It's interesting because I always assumed, unions were about wages, higher wages, and better benefits. But every time I interview, it seems like employees from cannabis dispensaries, it seems to be always what you just led with, which was to have an input on the workplace, which seems like a simple thing. You think, most places would give you the workers an input, but it seems like that is very lacking in cannabis because I hear this over and over and over again. And it seems like it's the number one reason why employees want to unionize. I mean, is that something that you're hearing or is that just your personal view, AJ?
I mean, even I listen to your podcast, I listen to that episode and you hear these stories over and over again. And like, it's like any job, honestly, it's across the board of any job I've worked personally where like, you can go to HR, you can go to these things and you can try and use those channels to do it the correct way, the way that you want to get your points across just for simple things. But when that that's just either an echo chamber or it's not being dealt with, now it's time to like take matters in your own hands and you got to be able to like fight for yourself. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. And not a lot of people get to that point or have I think the courage to say to put up a boundary in a workplace. A lot of people don't have that courage. I think that it's like a really, not to say like I have a lot of courage, but I think like I'm in a group of people who do have that courage to say, you know what, enough is enough here, and we're gonna do something to work in benefit of ourselves at the end of the day.
And Adam, what would you say your reason was for working on this union campaign at INSA Salem?
So the biggest thing for me has been and really always will be accountability. INSA and a lot of other cannabis companies, but specifically here, INSA, they haven't really fulfilled their promises to workers and honestly consumers, but we're really focusing on workers right now. And there's no real way to hold them accountable right now. And in my view, the only real way to do that would be through a union and having some kind of legal measure where the workers will have that representation and will be able to hold the company accountable if need be. I mean, this for me has always been a act of love for INSA. Like, if I didn't care about the company and if I hated the company, I would have just quit. But it pains me that that's the option that most people go towards when they have a job that they don't feel is treating them correctly. So that's really why I went towards the union.
Okay. And I should mention, Adam, you are no longer employed at INSA Salem.
Yeah.
But AJ Fenway Parker, you are.
Yeah, I am. I'm a lead there, and I'm there a lot of the days, and I know a lot of the customers. Like they're gonna know exactly who I am, and I would say I'm like a part of that community, or I'm a part of like that day to day part of the store, and I really love it. Same thing with Adam. I want to like tag on that. Like I love working there, and I love the people there. I do love the product personally. I like a lot of stuff.
Product's pretty great.
Product's pretty great. And I love it. And I wouldn't have fought for, these people that I love so much, so hard, if it wasn't worth it at the end of the day, to make this all worth it, because I do believe there's a world where we can like have these, I would say, simple things that we want in a workplace, and INSA is fun and makes money and it's completely, I think that that's a completely visible and like a true path. Like that's something that can happen 100%.
Now, Adam, you had mentioned that the company maybe hadn't lived up to their promises to the employees.
Yeah.
What kind of promises do you think that they haven't lived up to?
Mostly just fixing their past mistakes and how they've treated us before. And you can tag on to this.
Well, I would say that, like you were talking about accountability, that's what
Yeah.
it comes down to. When something that happens and you say, hey, like, I don't think that this was fair in this way.
It just falls on deaf ears.
Exactly. Like, how many times can you say the same thing with nothing changing or not? And I think that's fair to say, that's like why we're unionizing, because
how many times do we have to tell people the same story of the same bullshit that we go through and have nothing be done about it? Like, you keep bringing these people in, but nothing's happening.
And truthfully, it's for me, like, not to be vulnerable, but it is a terrifying experience because you are a small person against something that has, I would say, millions, I would assume, dollars behind it.
Mhm.
And it's
Easily.
not it, and I feel like all the actions and the idea of unionizing the company takes it personally, almost like it's an attack on the company, or like, how could you want that, or something along those lines. And it's not. It's about wanting to make the company a better place.
That's right.
That's where it all comes from. It comes from, like, love.
Yeah.
Good answer. And I would also note that you AJ, you are like, I know this because I've been doing coverage of these union battles for a while, New England Treatment Access specifically, and we had an employee come on, and unfortunately we had several employees come on, and we didn't expect anything to happen. Nothing did happen, and then we did another show with a bunch more employees, and they picked one person out of all the employees, and they fired that person. That's always a risk for you here, especially speaking up. I mean, you're obviously concerned. You're also like not trying to go totally negative against them because you work there and you do love the place. But that is a concern. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a concern for anyone. That's why it's so hard to start a union. I mean, it's so hard to even say it out loud. Like, maybe we should have a union in the workplace, because you have that fear. Like, we're very lucky because we got to the point where we had everyone sign the union cards, and we were able to deliver a letter and formally say, we want this union in this workplace, before they could really, go in and union bust and stop things and intimidate. Like, it's the tall tale of of companies. You watch that John Oliver special on union busting. It's a really, really great. I've been sending it to everyone to kind of, what's going on here. Here's a general explanation for anyone that doesn't know anything about unionizing.
But it's the same thing over and over again. I see it all the time in every battle. So you're great at this, because that was actually my next question, is like, where does this stand right now in Salem at INSA? You've gotten how many cards signed, and you got a vote coming up, or you don't need a vote because you got enough
We
cards?
don't have an election scheduled just yet.
The company's still stalling with that. But hopefully we'll get that soon.
We have all the numbers, and we had 80% signed up, which they could have said, yes, we can do that, because but they want to go to an election, which is their right.
Yep.
And we're allowed to vote, and we're going to do it.
Yep.
And honestly, let everybody be anonymous and feel comfortable and have their vote and have their say.
That's a good sign. You got 80% up front. That's
we did. We
very
had a
good
lot.
sign.
About 77% or 80, yeah, like something like along those lines. I mean, there's been people that have left since then, and there's been a lot more people, coming in, and there's a lot of changes.
Every time they hire a new employee, I'm sure they try to campaign with them. So you're expecting a union vote sometime in the near future. You have a number of cards. You're working with UFCW, is that correct?
Yeah, and they've been like so phenomenal, like so great in helping us and keeping everyone informed and knowing their rights and knowing what what something's they're gonna try and say, or what could happen, and that's been the best part, I think, is like having someone to have your back and really looking out in the best interest of the workers and keeping them all together.
Shout out to Megan.
Yes.
Megan Carvalho, is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of UFCW organizers and reps, and I really like them. I'm really impressed. I think they know what they're doing, and they do have the workers' best interest. And they're not, not every union is the same. I've been a union worker myself, and I've seen, good stuff and bad stuff from unions. And I think UFCW really does try to work with a lot of the workers that need representation the most, who aren't the ones that make the most money for a union. Let's put it that way. Like when I was a financial advisor too, a lot of the financial advisors would only focus on people with $1 million or more, because that's how you make your money. And, dealing with folks that really don't have much money, it's almost not worth the risk, being sued, for how much little you would make off of them. But I would take them. I was one of those folks who just thought that everyone needed help, and I would give it. I didn't care how much money I was making off that person. And I think UFCW is like that. I think that they're committed to the cause more than they're worried about how much money they're going to make from the employees. So I think that's really important that you guys are with UFCW, because they're focused on cannabis dispensaries in Massachusetts. They have a movement going right now too, right?
Yeah, Cannabis Workers Rising.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you look at their posts? I mean, it's like a sweeping across the nation, unionizations on all cannabis industries. Like, it's great. It's so cool to see how many have been unionized over the past couple months or so. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm putting that up there right now. Cannabis. Let's see if I got it right though.
Cannabis Workers Rising.
I got it up, right? Is that it? Cannabis Workers Rising.
Yeah.
Hashtag. Check it out. So you're expected to have a vote soon, hopefully announced sometime.
Yeah.
When INSA realizes that you have enough people, which they should have already realized, but sometimes it takes some time, and we've seen this over and over again. They do like to stall. We've seen that too. But basically, is there anything that consumers or customers of INSA, or just the general cannabis community, local community, can do to support the workers or support your campaign right now?
So right now, we did try to voice things through Google reviews, which hasn't really gone anywhere, which, I don't think was anything. It's true. Like, I believe that as a customer, you could write that and show your support for those people, because they work there. They're there every day. They see us. We have a lot, but obviously that's not really the avenue we can go with, because they removed them. So all of them. But hey, that's just like the truth. So if that's not what they want to see, it's okay. But I think that you can talk to the workers, and you can tell people what's going on at INSA, and you can let them know how these people feel and what they might be fighting for, and how, come to my social media. I will have updates. I will have things that people can do. We're working on in March having a union night working with all the local unions, and I'm a drag queen. So I'm going to have a night where, it's all of us celebrating and really getting together and showing the support for the local communities, and showing that we're all in this together, and all these unions have had to go through this process, this intimidating process. So honestly, the best thing you can do is vocally support, tell those people, tell your friends, and say hey, have you heard what's going on there? We should think about this. We should go talk to somebody.
Right. And share this podcast or this video cast
share this podcast
with your friends who are customers, and let them know what's going on.
Of course, because it's true. That is my right as a human being. I have the right to organize. I have the right to say, hey, we want a union.
Yeah. And I mean, if you do shop at INSA, talk to your bud tender about how they feel things are going on. I mean, we can't speak for everyone who works there, but might have a pretty interesting conversation.
You could totally tell your bud tender, hey, I hope you're doing great, and this is going well for you today, and I support you in your union. Tell them.
Yeah.
Even if they don't support it, just tell them.
That's a good way when you're going into INSA. Let the employees know that you support them in union.
We're gonna support it.
I don't know. I think, like I said, it's difficult because there isn't. It's such a helpless feeling.
Yeah.
It really is, because you're at the whim of, like I said, like a labor board and all these things, and like I said, all we're trying to do is like get some simple things done and make sure that we have a voice and things like that. And it makes me sad that, like, it's just like America. It's
Yeah.
so crazy that it takes
It's not
all
easy.
this,
It's
all
not
this.
easy. Yeah. It's definitely not easy. If it was,
No.
everyone would already be organized, I think. And, we've seen, these opportunities to win a union don't come around every day. Like, and if you don't win this time, it's a lot harder sometimes to come back. So that's why this is really important for the workers. There's a lot at stake. And it affects, I think, everyone else too, that is at other dispensaries. They when they see positive things happening, then they consider maybe doing the same thing at their dispensary. So
Mhm.
you guys are leaders on this. AJ, you said that a couple things. You mentioned the event. I definitely want to go, especially if it's like locally in Salem area. I would
Yeah,
love to go to that. So
I
keep us
don't want to
updated.
say the venue just yet, but like we're in talks, and like when I have details, I will be sending it all out.
Awesome. I need to know, like, so I can schedule my business life around my personal life.
On a Sunday. On
Yeah.
a Sunday from 3 to 6 at some
Oh,
point
okay.
in
That'll be
March.
easy. I can do that. I can definitely do that. I'm looking forward to it. And the other thing too is, oh man, I'm losing my track of thought. There's something else you said too that struck me that how do people, I know that you're on Facebook at AJ Fenway Parker.
Yeah, I
What are
mean,
the other social media you have? Is
that's
that
more
it?
like I guess, so my main thing is I'm on Instagram at Ms. Diamond Wigfall, MIZ Diamond, and then Wigfall, WIGFALL.
Wigfield, like Wigfeld?
Like a wigfall, like a waterfall, but a
Oh,
like
Wigfell,
like a
Wigfall.
waterfall.
Well,
Yeah.
your wig is falling off. Okay.
Yes, yes, but it doesn't fall. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
It
she's
never
very
does.
Glued down.
Cool. So they can follow you on Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook. Is there anything else too that you kind of want to convey about this, this movement today?
Here, you go first. Is there anything that you're thinking about?
No. If you're in the cannabis industry and you feel like you want a union or should have a union, do it. Like it's your right.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. So yeah, totally that.
Like you have the right to have a union. Like we are exercising our rights.
Yeah,
And
it's
no
a
matter
human
what
right.
they tell you, you can have a union if you want a union. That's what I have to say.
It's so funny because people, one employee at a dispensary I was talking to about a union, actually, he said, "You mean I can get more money and get a union job, and you're going to get me a union job?" I said, "No, I'm not getting you one. You're going to have to get yourself one. You can
Right.
actually do this." Like, it's just like dawns on it. People don't realize, like, it's within your power. It's totally up to you.
It is.
I think
We're
it's the
posting some. Oh, go ahead.
I think it's the ultimate act of self-love and love for your company and your coworkers to form a union.
It's I mean, not to like be kumbaya, my lord, but I
Right.
agree. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I think it's just like a way to make sure that you're doing things for the people and they have a say and there's a voice there. I think the bad rep about unions is like it's like, oh, you're gonna have to pay a lot of money to be in a union, or the union, it's really hard to be fired because they just keep people, or there's lots of things that companies say historically, repeatedly, that that fear about unions and things like that. But like Adam said, like it's all that is like shenanigans because you have that right.
Yeah,
You
it's your
have the
right.
right to organize. You have the right to say like you want a say.
Right. It's funny too, because I've worked at one of the, I had a union job through college that was like one of the most expensive unions. There is a difference between different unions, and it wasn't all that expensive, considering what we got for benefits. Like, and but UFCW is not going to be expensive. I'll tell people that right now. I know that for a fact.
No, it's not.
So that's number one. And the other thing is that they never fire people, which is total BS. Management can never fire people. No, not when I worked at the union shop, people were fired plenty. If you, I'll give you a perfect example. You tested for, cocaine, and you're a CDL driver, you're fired immediately. You don't even get you might get a grievance if you really want to fight it. But I mean, that's the real difference between having a union and not having a union. You actually get to contest it maybe if you're fired, so that if it's not for a good reason, if management is just out to lunch doing the wrong thing, then you can contest that firing and you'll probably win. But if it's for just cause and you did something crazy, the union, honestly can't protect you. If you've done something crazy, you've done something crazy, and you're going to get fired no matter what.
I mean, I think that's the whole point, is that we have a conversation about those things, and we have a realistic, we talk back and forth about what the company sees and what wants and expects, and what is realistic for us. And I totally agree with you. Unless there is that able to have that conversation, things are willy-nilly, or we don't have that opportunity. It can go any way.
And we posted a couple comments. One of the comments from Jasper Leor. Is that one of your friends, or is that
it's my friend. It's
and they said at Ms. Diamond Wigfall.
Yeah, that's my Instagram. Shout out to Queer Videography. They are a Salem-owned business, and they're great. And they work with local businesses to create content, and they're awesome. So definitely hit them up.
Oh, I'd love to talk to them. And someone asked a opinion about Lennon. I don't even know where that one comes from. I don't know if anyone wants to comment. I don't have any opinion on Lennon tonight. I don't know about you.
I'm more of I could talk hours about this, but I'm more of a Martov guy rather than Lennon. But he's okay. Some of the ways he went about things I don't really support, but comrade's a comrade, I guess.
We went so far somewhere.
Why do people always want to get into philosophy? We're talking about INSA Salem, and people want to ask about Lenin. I don't know. I listen, some of the commenters are funny. Jasper writes, "You are all strong leaders making this world better for everyone. I support you in the union." See, that's a much better comment.
Yeah,
thank you, Jasper. And I like questions generally. I do. I do generally like questions, but
I'll tip Jasper after this. Jasper, just ask some questions now.
Yeah. Jasper's so far he's the MVP in commenters tonight. Jasper Leor,
fantastic.
Yeah. So hashtag Cannabis Workers Rising is where you can find much more information about the cannabis workers' rights movement that's going on with UFCW. I would definitely suggest people check that out as well. And hopefully, I hope you keep us updated on what's going on when you have your union election. We got another comment here too.
Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Jen Marie, a friend, says, AJ and Adam, you guys are amazing. Keep up the good fight. Gives you some love too. Hands up. Yeah.
Definitely.
So you definitely have some support out there. And another Facebook user writes, UFCW strong.
Yes.
Nation point. So you're getting some love tonight. Definitely. Well, I definitely appreciate having you on the show tonight. It's kind of a quick show because it's it's not a lot to
there's not a lot there's not a lot right now that we can express, to be honest, and that's just the nature of it all. And eventually, when hopefully things get to a point where we see a future, and hopefully it's something that's in our best interest, we'll definitely be able to talk about that again.
I can't wait.
Thank you for
as soon as there's an election announced, let me know. And if there's any pushback, if you get any crap at work, let me know. But I guess the last question I have for both of you, because you're in the middle of this.
Yes.
You're leaders of this. You're basically, am I correct in saying you're two of the co-organizers? You're basically the two organizers of this.
We co-organize it. Yeah.
What's your advice for other employees in other dispensaries who are maybe dealing with some of the same situation? Where do they even start if they're just one person at a dispensary saying, man, I think I'd like to be unionized, but I don't know how to go about it?
Cannabisworkersrising.com. Scroll all the way down. It'll have a section where you fill out your name, your email, phone number, tell them your story. I can't speak on every single experience, but our incredible union organizer, Megan, she got back to me within 5 minutes of filling out that. So, Cannabis Workers Rising, if you're in the cannabis worker or the cannabis industry, if you're in any other industry and you feel like you want a union, just do a little bit of research, take 10, 20 minutes, and there's Megan! Hi, Megan!
Yeah, Megan just posted UFCW.org
Yeah.
/cannabis is where you can find that. And I would also add, if you could always reach out to me. I would definitely put you in touch with the UFCW folks too. So, and I know, just like you said, within 5 minutes that they're looking like they want to find
And
you.
And
they
like you
wanna hear-
said, it's not because they're trying to make money, it's because they
No.
want to help people. And
Yeah.
that's the best part about it. Like that's been so incredible to feel supported. And I can't thank, Megan enough. And I can't thank you enough, Mike, for having us and letting us use your platform.
really.
Oh my God. Thank you. Seriously. Thank you, AJ and Adam, for being on the show tonight and fighting for workers. It's a lot to take on, and you did that. So like, you should not be thanking me. I'm thanking you. Like, you're doing the real work. Like, so often people get credit for things and they're not doing the work. You two are actually doing serious, like your work affects everybody. It affects so many lives. And honestly, thank you. More comments. Love you both so much.
Brittany!
Love. You got this for Brittany.
We love you, Brittany.
Yeah, I love you, Brittany. Thank you.
I love it. You both smiling too. So
No, it's good. It's awesome. There's been so much support. That's the cool
the
part.
support is I mean, there are so many things that make this worth it because it's a hard process. Don't get me wrong, but the support that we've gotten both internally and externally has been absolutely incredible.
Seriously, yeah. Like, I mean, even at my show, and I've been talking. I talk about like politics at my show all the time, like real things, and I talk about being a worker and being in retail and just crap that you have to deal with as a what is the word? What worker for COVID where you have to go to work? What's the word?
Essential.
Yeah, being an essential worker, things
Essential.
like that. Yeah, and it's crazy how it's universal. Like all of these things, even if it's not in the cannabis industry or wherever it is, people come up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, like you speaking about that today, it made me realize like, I deserve better," or and it's all about spreading the good word at this point.
It's so true. Cause I'm basically working for my customers, and instead of working for an employer, and I'm an essential worker too. And the difference I feel like from working for an employer versus working directly for customers, the customers appreciate you so much. Like you wouldn't believe the extra money that they, you know what I mean? They know. And I think if it was up to the customers, you'd all be all set, but unfortunately it's not. And it's up to management, who are reporting to share owners and publicly traded companies. Sometimes I don't know if INSA is, but there's definitely someone that owns some shares that wants to maximize revenue, and that often doesn't include treating the employees the best. You mentioned your show a couple times, AJ.
Yeah,
and I know you have a show, so tell me about it. You have is it Sundays? You just do your tell us about your show.
It's Diamonds Dine-In. My drag name is Ms. Diamond Wigfall. That's what my Instagram is, and I have a show every single week from 3 to 6 p.m. And I'm singing, dancing, playing games, like drinking games with people. I'm I don't know. I have a different guests a lot of the time, and I like to make sure that it's like a drag king, queen, straight people who play guitar, all kinds of people, and it's really awesome because there's not really like queer spaces in this area, really. It's like Boston,
North of Boston, especially, yeah.
And even Boston is really centered around like gay men, than that type of queer or that type of gay person, So and nothing against that. It's just like, it's not as inclusive. It's
Yeah.
not as, for AFAB people or people who, are non-binary or, even lesbian people, and making sure that it's like for everyone. So I love Gulu because they hire all kinds of people, and they make sure that I'm, being paid. Like, I think economic equality is like a huge important thing about this, and like making sure a drag queen's paid for what she does, and it's important. So I'm really lucky I have it because there isn't anything really like this around here, and it's like 40 weeks strong almost.
That's great. That's
I'm the
crazy.
first
40
weekly
weeks you've been
drag
doing
show.
that. It's almost a year. You might, I imagine you're going to do a huge year anniversary party.
Oh,
What,
hell yeah.
this is downtown Salem too, right?
Downtown Salem, right behind the Samantha Witch statue, and usually it's outside in the summer, so it's really fun, and,
Oh my God,
like,
that's going to be awesome.
October was crazy, I'm, like, right in the center of town, like, surrounded by I can't even see the ends of where the people, like, start and finish. It's really incredible, and I'm lucky because 'cause I'm, like, talking about pride every week on to people who have no idea what a drag queen is or what it's about, and so many people who have never experienced drag before coming in and being like, "Oh my god, that's what's up," It's
You know,
cool.
it's funny. I think I walked by you the other day in Salem,
I'm
and
sure you did.
I was like, is that AJ? You were talking to somebody. It was downtown Salem, and I had like this big dog, and I was like, it's always probably the best we didn't stop. The dog's kind of, he's funny. He's just, but it's funny. I guarantee you now, I will bump into you in Salem. We'll see each other around.
I'm sure.
So we're the Young Jerks, and I'm really happy tonight that we got to speak to AJ Fenway Parker and Adam Lynch. They're fighting for a union at INSA Salem. There's a union campaign, easy for me to say, with UFCW. And like, you could see it tonight. People were giving support, and that's exactly what we as a cannabis community need to be doing for the workers, is letting them know that we support them in their union fight and in their union campaign. And hopefully you get a vote real soon. So I want to thank you both for coming on.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you.
And keep us updated. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you so much. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you so much, AJ and Adam. And again, we're the Young Jerks. I want to thank everyone for all the support lately, especially the folks that nominated us again. We're nominated. The Young Jerks are nominated for Best Podcast and Best News Source at the New England Cannabis Convention Awards. Myself, Kyle Carrillo, and Red Blazer are also up for the Lifetime Achievement Award. Please go vote. Vote at necan.com. I want to thank everyone for supporting us and voting for us and nominating us, getting us nominated for that again. It's a big honor, especially knowing that people care about us and support what we do. We have some upcoming shows coming. I haven't announced dates yet, but stay tuned. We're going to be doing more cannabis stuff and more local politics too. A lot more sounding out, maybe even some national stuff. We shall see. We will see you real soon. Mike Crawford, thank you so much. Young Jerks.